Hi everyone. So today we're going to be finishing up the game you worked on with Pranav last time, the text adventure game. So before we begin, you're going to need to open up the REPL you edited last time, and if you didn't save that, then you can just go to this link to get what Pranav wrote for the last lesson. Um, Other than that, we can just begin. So link here. Yeah, okay, I'm going to delete that. Um, so anyways, we left off printing out a little situation where we're stuck in a cave and then a couple of choices that we can, um, well, pick, and then we ask the user for a choice, and then we ask a user for a choice, store it, and then just print it out here. So if we run that, we should be able. So let's say I want to run around in circles. I press 1, click enter, and I get 1 back. Now the problem with this is that we can't really do anything different based on our option, or at least not yet. But we needed some way to uh, check if our option is a certain number and then run different things based off of that. And we call that an if statement. So if I open up here and the way we write it is this if, and then we can put in a condition. So I want choice is equal to, and then a certain choice, and we'll get to why there are two equal signs there. That's very important. So if choice is equal to 1, and then to print, and we'll have something that happens in that option. So um, a monster finds you. So if we run that, what we'll write 2, and we'll get what we had last time. But if we write 1, the code will check whether our choice is equal to 1, and if it is, it will print a monster finds you. So let's try that out, and we get a monster finds you, and then this line here. So let's break this down for a second. Um, First thing that you might notice is that this section is automatically indented um, for some reason, and the reason is that Python needs to know what code is inside of this condition. And it does this by checking your indents. So if you want something to be inside the if condition, it has to have one indent here. So I can print something else here. Hello world. And then print something outside of the indent. So here there's no indent. Here there is an indent. I can print something outside of the indent. And now if I run this and I pick 1, it'll print out all 4 print statements. So we can see this here, then this here. And if I pick a different choice, for example, choice 2, it'll only print the statements on the outside of the indent. So this code belongs to this condition. Anyway, so let's continue. Um, so we'll keep that here. Oh yeah, one more thing. We need to put 2 equals here because when we write 1 equal, we want to assign a variable. And putting 2 equals there tells Python that we don't want to assign choice to 1, but rather we want to compare choice to 1. So assigning would be, well, choice equals 1. So now I set the choice to 1, and if I want to compare the to see if choice is equal to 1, I would do choice is equal to 1 with 2 equals. Um, we can also do all kinds of different things. For example, we can check if choice is greater than 1. So if we run that, we'll get, if I do 2 here, then we'll get a monster finds you. And if I write 3, we'll get a monster finds you. But if I write 1, which is not greater than 1, we'll just get the outside uh, statements. So we can do that. We can make it smaller than 1. Of course, we don't really need to do that. So for now, we're just going to leave it as equal to 1. So 2 equals is a comparison, and 1 equal is an assignment. So let's continue here. We have, well, 2 more options. I'm just going to remove this. And actually, we don't need to print out the choice later on. So we have two more choices. So when choice is 2, we can, so what is it? Use your smartphone. Um, we can print out, I don't know, some situation. This is a bit bizarre. Anyways, your phone runs out of battery and you die. Okay, and then for the last option, you use the torch. We can just write, we can ask, for example, on what, and we'll get to that in a second, because we want multiple questions after, right? So we'll get to that in a second. But anyways, if we run this, and I write 2, we'll get your phone runs out of battery and you die, just like I wrote here. If I write 3, on what, and if I write 1, a monster finds you. So, one thing that you might have noticed is that we use elif instead of if here. What happens is that Python checks. So here I'll write if. Let's have a test thing. So pretend that this is a comparison. Python will check test, do this thing, do whatever is here inside the statement, and then if test is not true, then we could then it would only then would it check for elif. So test 2, do something if test 1 is false. So anyways, if test is true, would do this thing, and only if it isn't true would it check test for test 2 and then run this. So you can use it for efficiency. There are other different reasons to use elif over if, but um, for example, if I had a statement that checked if a number was greater than 5, and then let's see here. So I printed hello greater than 5, and then I checked else if the number is smaller than 3, and then we can print number smaller than 3. Anyways, so this would only be checked after this is checked. So logically, it can also make a difference. Really, here we're just using it to demonstrate, I guess. So we can present multiple options now. So 1, we get a monster finds you. 2, we get your phone runs out of battery and you die. And 3, we get on what. So on what, we need to ask another question. So one of the things we can do is take this whole thing and just stick it in here. So, okay, just stick it in here, and we need to indent that. So if you select this whole thing and then press tab, it'll indent everything in. And what this does is it nests this whole condition here inside this condition here. So I need right here on what, I deleted that accidentally, on what, and then what we need to do is ask for another choice. So if I go here, choice, so we can ask for another choice, well, yeah, and then we can put if statements inside of if statements to check if the choice is 3, then get another choice, and then if the choice is 1 now, do something else. But this is inside this statement here. So if I were to minimize that, you see that everything disappears. So if choice is equal to, so what choices, oh yeah, we also need to print choices. So we'll take this here, put this here, and we'll have, you use it on a pile of wood, on, what can you light torches with? On, nothing. I don't know. Okay, this is getting a bit bizarre. But anyways, and we'll just have two choices for this one. So for the first choice, we can have the pile of wood keeps you warm and alive, or keeps you alive, okay? And then number two could just be okay, because we really don't know why they're not using the torch or anything. But anyways, if I run that, and yeah, okay, if I run that, I can go and use free on what and something. Oh no, right, yeah, okay. Um, Side problem, we put this before, we ask for an input before we give the options. So if I run that again, so we use the torch and then on what? A pile of wood. The pile of wood keeps you alive. And if I do free and then two, it'll tell me okay. So now one last thing. What happens if someone inputs something, for example, 4 here? Well, nothing happens. That's not really that good. So what we want is that if it's not free or 2 or 1, that we do something else. So what we can do is go here, write else. So again, it's all on the same line, and therefore it's all on the same column, and therefore this else comes after this elif. But else only happens if all the above conditions are false. So if I do else print uh, invalid answer, and we run that, and then we put in 4, we get the invalid answer. And really, we can do that inside this one too. So if I just paste that, put it here. So let's see. Yeah. So let's try to play our really dull game, but I use the torch on a pile of wood, and the pile of wood keeps you alive, which is a bit bizarre, but yeah. That's really it. You can theoretically just add more options. So just by putting more conditions inside of conditions, inside of conditions, inside of conditions, inside of conditions, just nest them infinitely. But other than that, that's the game. Yeah, it's not that thrilling, but you can write whatever story you want for this if you feel like it. In fact, we actually do need to check one thing. I use a torch on not on an invalid answer, and we get an invalid answer. That actually needs to be 1, 2. So let's try that. And I get an invalid answer. Okay, great. And that's really it. So yeah, you have a choose your own adventure game. It's a bit long, but yeah, I'm gonna stop.